Welcome to Timberborn. We're playing the Update 1 experimental branch. And today we're going to start a new game with the folktales on the canyon map on normal difficulty. I think I'm going to call the settlement the Lowlands, since we're in this valley, in this canyon. Now I've paused the game, so we can take a look at how our situation is in this game. To give a brief explanation of how this game works, we are playing a basic city builder with the usual management stuff like food, water and other needs, while we're also managing our water. We have these water sources up here, which spew out water, which we can then gather up to satisfy our thirst, and it's also irrigating the land beside it. A big part of this game is storing this water with the help of dams, since there are dry periods where these water sources will stop spewing out a lot of water, and we could fall into a drought where our population could die. Besides this good water, as I'm going to call it here, we also have this bad water spewing out from these bad water sources right here. So 2 over here and 2 over here. And a bad tide drain over here. And this bad water kills everything around it. So this is contaminated terrain. I couldn't plant any trees on it even if it be irrigated. Besides the droughts, there are also bad tides, meaning these sources, instead of spewing out good water, will spew out bad water, and at that time, this bad tide drain will also spew out bad water. So we'll have to manage that and try to divert this bad water from our good water system we're going to build up. As we're playing the folktales, we're starting with quite a lot of food, 130 berries, but no water. So my first priority is going to be to get us some water down. So let's place 2 pumps right here. I'm going to prioritize 1 lower, since for this population size 1 is plenty, and we can just leave the second one for the future. Then we are going to place a few logging flags right here. That's going to allow 2 of our beavers to become lumberjacks, allowing them to deforest this area, which I'm marking right now. And then, to also get a little bit of starting food supply in, I'm also going to extend this path over here and place a gatherer flag over here, since the gatherer will be able to gather these blueberries. For now, I'm going to increase our workers in the district hub, where I'm employing the builders for now. They're going to build these flags first, and after they get some wood, we can get the water pumps going. Right now, they're building this second water pump, since they don't have anything other to do right now. And for now, I'm also going to put in some small tanks right here. Later on, I'm going to try to prioritize these medium or large tanks, since they have a higher space efficiency. For now, let's continue with the basics. So let's get a farmhouse down over here. And I'm going to cultivate carrots for now. That's a second food source for our beavers. And the carrots don't need any processing. So after 4 days, they will grow and will each yield 3 carrots. And over here I have to select that I want them to store water there. Now after this farmhouse is built, which is taking a bit since they're finishing these small tanks right now, I'm going to have a problem since I won't have enough jobs to fill this one. For that, since we're playing the folktales, I'm going to have to build housing, since on the folk tales, when you have empty housing, they are going to repopulate and breathe until that housing cap is filled. But since my food supply and water supply is quite bland right now and isn't where I want it to be, I am not going to expand this population for now. As we're looking up here, these trees are quickly getting eroded, meaning that we need a forester as soon as possible. This forester needs 10 logs, 7 planks and 30 science. We can get the science going by placing a science or an inventor hut right here. And then one of our beavers who isn't working right now will be working there. Let's decrease this builder population by 2, then we have 3 workers in the farmhouse. And 1 is going to go into the science hut. The second thing we needed for the forester though is planks, which we get from a sawmill for our lumber mill. And this lumber mill also needs power, 50 horsepower to be exact. So I'm going to place this one over here. And now when I open this power tab, I have the option to power this with water wheels. The water wheels in this game are dependent on the water flow. So if we look around right here, as an example, we have a wider river right here, meaning the water spread more. This leads to the water wheel giving off less horsepower. If I were to put it right here, it would give me 170 since it's a really tight corner. So that's where I'm going to put it. I know that this placement isn't ideal, but later on I can place levees right here to minimize the area the water can flow, which would lead to the water wheel becoming more efficient. Now another thing I want to do to prepare for my first drought, which is still quite a bit away, but I don't want to be caught red-handed, is I want to build a dam. For now this simple dam will suffice, so I'm going to place 5 dam blocks right here. In this game water doesn't flow diagonally, so this will be enough to hold all this water a bit longer. Now that I have power right here, I can also enable this lumber mill, which will allow us to get our first planks, and we have also reached 30 science, so we can place down our first forester. I want to place this one so it has reached everywhere. If I place it around here, it should be good. Yes. So now, after this forester is built, we'll have to think about which trees we're planting. I'm going to spoil myself. I'm going to plant mostly oak trees, since they are by far the most efficient resource. Not resource, by far the most efficient when it comes to the log to day ratio. But they are going to need some time to grow, so we might have a little bit of a log drought while these days are passing. But we can still try to get the trees down here, and also there's a dead oak forest up here with plenty of trees. So if we ever really need some logs for like projects while we are waiting for these trees, we can always build ourselves around here to the dead forest up there. For now, looking at my food and water up there, I'm seeing that I need some food storage since my berries are overflowing. So let's make a berry storage right here, while also making a storage for my carrots since they are being gathered right now. Okay, we've run out of our forest right here, so these trees are all cut down. We still have some seedlings over here which are growing. They will be there shortly, but for now I have to tap into this little forest as well. So let's place a second lumberjack over here so I can reach the whole forest, since these ones only reach the first 2 to 3 rows over here. And we can also pause one of these lumberjacks since I don't need that many right now, and my population is still limited. Now, it's day 10 right now, and I think it would be time to give my viewers some housing. They're finishing up this dam right now, and after that they're going to build the storage. But I think after that we're going to have some downtime and some spare materials so we can get started on some housing. This housing is going to be mostly temporary. I am going to place it on this dead area already, since I want to maximize my green space for the forestry and the food farming. But I think I later on move the houses up to this area maybe, since I think I can irrigate this land quite easily. That's why I won't worry too much about how this looks for now. I'm just going to put some simple houses down here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses here. They each hold 3 beavers. So this will be plenty for our beavers right now, and we're going to get 2 more. And while they're building that, I can also get 1 logger started on removing these dead trees to also top up our wood supply. Since, as you see, this little forest down here isn't holding on for much longer. Now 1 more log and this dam is finished. The dam holds up to a water level of 0.65 or 0.6 if I'm not mistaken. Which means that we have a little bit higher water here than here, and as soon as the drought comes, our water won't just evaporate instantly. This little pond right here is also cut off by a natural dam, so similar to this one, but just naturally generated with a map. And I could remove these, but for now I think having an extra reserve pond right there isn't that bad. As we see, our efficient farmhouse is working perfectly, since the first crops are growing while they're planting the last ones, so they should be harvesting carrots now indefinitely. And as we now got the warning, we have a drought approaching in 3 days. We're looking fine food and water wise for now for this small population, meaning that I am not worried too much when it comes to the drought. What's worrying me more is that this is the last bit of forest we have, since everything else is already chopped down. So I think our next course of action is going to be to allow ourselves to tap into this forest right here. And since the drought is coming, the water flow is going to stop, meaning our water wheel will stop working and our lumber mill will run dry on power, which will lead to a halt in the plant production for now. But that's not too big of a worry, since we can always solve the issue later, and for now it doesn't matter too much. Now I've used all of our science to research the one of high platforms, and now I'll be able to get down another lumberjack flag right here after these ones are built, which will allow me to tap into this forest right here. As we see, these trees have grown, so we can unpause one of these. We still have 1 worker left, so that's perfect. We're going to cut down these last pine trees, fill the empty slots in with oaks, and then this will take some time to grow. The first oaks are only 16% down, so they will take quite some time to get up. But as soon as they've grown, our wood problem should be done, dealt with for now. They were quite fast at building up these platforms, since we have the plank storage right over here. We can pause this lumber mill for now, since they are not working it anymore, since it's night and the drought is coming to disable it anyway. So we can unpause this lumberjack flag, and now they're going to harvest this wood down here from the oak trees and the birch as well. The water is back, meaning we can re-enable this lumber mill. We can pause one of these forester flags. We'll say we'll pause. Actually, we can pause the berry demo flag. We have almost 200 berries right here, and this one is the last bush. I mean, they're regrowing, but we can pause this for now to get somebody in the lumber mill. Ah, we're still missing one. And then let's reduce the workers by one since they are not building anything currently. As I'm now looking down here, we have these last bits of forest up there. This forest is also mostly eroded down. So let's buy ourselves the stairs blueprint for another 70 science. Get these in, which will give us access to these trees up here. And then we can build ourselves up to get to these trees back here, which will easily get us through everything since they are all oak trees with 8 logs each. Next up, a few things I'd like to do is I'd like to get some more efficient water storage down, since when I want to expand my population I'm going to need more water, especially more water storage. And I don't want to spam down these small water tanks since they give 30 storage per tile, while these medium tanks for 4 tiles give us 300 storage. So it's 4 tiles more, but 10 times the capacity, leading to 75 capacity per tile. And since I also need less paths to access these, it's really quite efficient to use these. Later on, the large tanks are the best, but they need metal and gears for now, which are off the table. Actually, I lied a bit. The gears are something we'll do right now, since we'll need them to get our medium tanks going. So let's make a little pathway around here, and then we can make a gear workshop over here. I'm still lacking science though, but since this building will be connected to the lumber mill, they pass the power internally, meaning this one will also be powered as well, as you see by the system lighting up if I want to place it right there, opposed to being here where it doesn't have any power connection. So I'm going to place it right here as soon as I have the science. Okay, right now, since I have some downtime, let's look at our water situation right here, so we can plan for the future. We have to keep two things in mind. First up, we want to avert bad water from ever coming into here, since it will kill all our plants and all our crops, which we want to avoid, especially since the trees take a lot of time to grow. The carrots can be replanted quite easily, but the trees will all die out, which we don't want. And we also want to store more water up here, since the storage in the storage containers is more efficient space-wise, but it doesn't irrigate around it, meaning we'll need dams to store a big amount of water over here. I think what I'm going to do for the water storage is we'll build in a dam right here, which will raise this water level by quite a bit, meaning we'll get all this area in this valley down here as storage. And for the bad water, I think it's a bit more complicated. We have these bad water sources right here, which are flowing off the map, and these ones which are flowing off the map. Meaning that right now I don't care about this constant stream of bad water coming from these bad water sources. What I do care about though is the bad tides, which will kill off everything I have right now, since everything right now is fed by this one river, and as soon as this gets replaced by bad water, during a bad tide, it's going to be really bad. So bad water is going to come from here, and from there all the way through here, since I have the bad tide drains there. I think an idea would be to plug this hole up and then build a dam all this way to redirect this water to here. That still leaves us to deal with this one though, and how I want to redirect this to meet up with the bad water somewhere. Later on I do have dynamite, meaning I could dig trenches to bring them somewhere, and even dig tunnel systems, which I could pressurize with bad water, and then just expel off the map. But I think would be quite fun to try to manage this without rushing dynamite. Meaning, I want to get up there first to start chopping down this forest. Right now I'm thinking of something for this bad water. I think I'm going to update y'all when I have an idea on how I'm going to deal with that. But for now, let's get the gear production going, since we have the 100 science, so I can research the gear workshop. This costs planks and logs. I have enough of both of those right nearby, so this will get built quite fast. These will need to store logs, and we're looking pretty good now. Now, I have thought of an idea for this area right here, and I think I'm going to build a little dam around here with 2 exit points. I'll have 1 exit point during the good seasons where the water is just going to exit into here, filling up our water reservoir, which we are going to build right there, and feeding this river. And I'll have a second exit point, which is going to open up right here, probably, which will lead to a canal leading all the way on this cliffside right here until I meet up with this right here. And right here I already had planned that I want to build a wall to redirect the bad water into here. So we'll have a canal that goes all the way through here and dump the bad water right here. That's the idea. We are on day 2 right now of our 3-day drought. The water situation is looking pretty good. I think on the last day I can restart the water promise, since I still have quite a bit of water left. We also reached our science goal, so let's queue up some water storage. Next up, I want to improve my already mentioned housing situation. So let's get ourselves a way up here to this area. We can unlock the big triple lodges. Perhaps this way. Each of these houses lodges, I was going to say lodges, hold 9 beavers. So triple the amount of these ones. The log piles up here are full, which is quite nice, since I'm going to build a lot of levees in this area right here, and I can use these logs to do that. While I'm on the topic of managing storage for building, I should build a holding post. In the holding post I can employ up to 10 beavers, whose only job it is to hold all kinds of resources, from the storages to the processing buildings, or from one storage to another storage. And then I can set up storages near my building sites, which will be supplied with the materials, so my builders don't have to run to this log storage as an example if they want to build over here and back and ahead. They can just take the logs from here, build, and then we'll be good. Okay, I'd like to get started on my first few projects regarding dams and the whole water part of this game. I have this dam right here built from the normal dams. The problem is that they can only hold water up to a height level of 0.6 or 0.765 if I'm not mistaken. Let's just stay with 0.6 for now. And I want to hold more than that. I could build levees all the way through here. They are essentially just dirt blocks from the height, meaning I would flood all my valley if I do that. So I don't want to do that. I want to have an opening by using these floodgates, which are basically just levees, but I can dams, but I can change the height of them. So while these are 0.65, these are 0.85 now. I can reach most of this construction from the side. Only this floodgate will have problems being built, meaning I'll just build a separate access way by chopping down these trees and going around. How far is our hauling post? We still need more planks. We can pause this gear workshop for now since gears are not needed in the near future. And our beavers up here are also finished with their work regarding the tree chopping. So let's get these out of the way. And now let's have a look at what we can do back here. What I want to essentially have is a 5 wide dam. That's going to be closed off with floodgates. While having these 2 exit points, so one exit point is going to be right here. And one exit point will be right here. For my convenience, let's put it like this. And then place my floodgate into here. We have 2 edges here. There should be enough to keep this water from overflowing, so let's put it like this then. Then we can have some levees through here. Then we can bring it over since we don't need that much space. And we can then route this along the edge right here. We'll have to bring it over right here since this one isn't big enough, this corner, so we'll route it like this. Then we'll route it parallel to here, through here, then later on through here. Or I can just do that now mostly, so let's make this perfect little scuffed. Since I can now have my levees here. And here. I can then bring them through here. I should probably leave a bit more space, so let's bring them through like this. Until we are back here, where we're going to meet up with the bad water dump from here. Right here we're going to block up this area. For access to this we can just build a stairway down somewhere up here. Or from this side is probably even easier. So let's have a path going to there. And then we can also extend these levees all the way until we are reaching this corner where we can build another dam right here to block them. Let's pause the water pumps again. And pause this log workshop again. With a 5-day drought now, we should be fine though. This water should still suffice since I'm not pumping anything from it. I have easily enough water stored. So let's have to make this. And to get all these icons out of my view, let's have them prioritize destroying all this stuff. Nice. We have quite a lot of housing. Let's build ourselves another efficient farmhouse right next to the other one. This one will reach this whole area as well. So after these berries are picked up, we can plant some potatoes on the side. For the potatoes we need a grill and some more storage, so let's put the grill in here. Then this one will be our carrot warehouse, this one will be our berry warehouse, and then later on I can swap this one to potatoes and this one to grilled potatoes. We can delete this log pile, so we can reroute these ones. And that'll allow me to place a second lumber mill in here. Now we're sadly reaching our maximum power output though, since we need 120 here and 50 here, and this one isn't even producing 170. So we'll have to increase the output of this water wheel. We can do that quite easily by moving it, probably. So let's look, we can build one here and one here later on. So let's move this one to out here, place one here, place some levees down here, and place some levees up there. So levees here, levees here, remove this one, like this, and then we can place a power shaft right here with one power wheel, two power wheels, and then we can connect them up like this. As we see, these ones jumped up from 150 to around 250. So we got 100 more horsepower, we doubled our gears, so we went from 150 to around 500 horsepower now, which will be plenty for everything we're doing for now. I can fit in one more right here if I move the storage just to here, and that will be all the industrial district we'll have set up here for now. Later on I'm going to make a separate one with a bit more, but for the early game this is easily enough. Let's also, while I'm looking at this, get a little forester in here that is going to plant some pine trees in this area. As soon as these pines are done planting, I'm going to replace this one with a tapper's shack, allowing me to start gathering some pine resin. Since I have a slot right here where I then can put the wood workshop, since I don't need that many planks right now. So a third lumber mill won't be necessary, but I want my spiral staircases, so I'll need a wood workshop. And after that I can just wait a bit for now until this build queue has finished up. So let's open up all of this and let the viewers build. Since this is quite spread out, I don't think this is as good for a time lapse, since it's just going to be like a snake building itself quite slowly and chaotically. So we'll just jump straight ahead and I'll keep you updated if something interesting happens. Okay, our first bad tide is approaching. Right now we are almost done with the diversion system. We have this diversion piece up here and the dam is being built currently. I did a little bit of readjusting since I had this area dammed first right here. So the bad water would flow down here and would be blocked down here. But since that would corrupt all this area, I decided to change my plans and plug the hole up here, so at the source basically. Meaning that I'll have a bit more livable land down here. I have 2 more days until the bad tide. I hope that I can finish at least these few levees here. What happens in this area isn't that concerning for now. I'm going to pause this stuff since I don't want to get my beavers to get sick. And I hope that we can finish up this area. Let's see, do I have any other building queued up right now? No, I don't. Okay, so they should probably be able to finish this last stretch in the next 1.7 days. How far are we? This should be fine. Okay, let's test if our system is working. If not, we can't really do anything about it since it's the last minute, but we are flowing through here. This is all working as intended. It's all nice and how it should be. Let's delete this path, then we won't be able to get there anymore, but that doesn't matter. We have a bit of overflowing here, but hopefully that won't happen with the bad water. Ah! This is not good. Please, no. Is this one floodgate not enough? That's bad. Okay. Let's see if this stabilizes. If not, then we'll be able to deal with it. It isn't stabilizing. Okay. A little bit of panic here. Let's build up the levees right here. Let's high prioritize this. Let's also get some dandelions planted somewhere. I have reached down here. Let's get some. Let's get a flag in here and some dandelions. Since I'm going to have some sick beavers now. Ah, okay, that happened. I thought it'd be enough, but seems like it wasn't. Or is it, actually? Oh, okay. It stopped on its own, so let's stop this whole operation. Okay, this is pretty bad. I have a lot of bad water here. Okay, but it worked mostly. Just we had throughput problems, so if I pull this one up and put another levee in there, it will work perfectly as intended. As we see, nothing is corrupted here. It's all working as we want it to. These trees are not dying, luckily. So we are in a good spot. We didn't die, everything's fine. Everything survived and we'll have a few sick beavers, but we can deal with that. Let's place down a herbalist. Up here temporarily. Yes. And this one will need dandelions and berries and water. and then we'll get some medicine. So let's store the medicine in here, the antidotes, and we can worry about that later on. Now I have to open up this again. I don't want to go. Oh, my water took me going the wrong way, since I need to flush out this bad water. Thank you. But as we see, this bad water diversion system is working mostly. It's just a few little adjustments that have to be made. We got this one built completely, meaning we can tear this out, and place another platform right here, and another floodgate right here. High prioritize this, and then this should get built really quickly. Let's see. We have all the planks stored here, so this should be fine. And it also gave us access to this area without going through the water itself, since when it's bad water, it's no good to go through it. As I'm looking at it right now, we don't seem to have any 6 beavers, so this project can be stopped for now. We seem to be fine in this area. This doesn't seem to be problematic. Yes. The last thing I want to do is get this wood workshop down. With this wood workshop down, it will exceed our power limit by a little bit, by like 50 when the water wheels are turning in their normal speed, but we can manage that much. Okay, we got the new diversion system in, so now if I raise this and then get this down, I should probably do it in the other way around. Now everything is working smoothly without any overflowing. Nice. Just as intended. Great. Let's get this wood workshop finished up, but since we don't have any resin anyways, that can still wait. Okay. I think at this point, let's let the flooding go away. Please. Thank you. I think this is a good point to end this episode. We've got quite a lot done today. We started out, we have a basic needs all covered, so we have water, we have food, we got our bad water diversion system going. We survived our first few routes and our first little mini bad tide, although there was a little accident throughout it, but we didn't get any sick beavers, so that's a win in my books. Okay, that's a wrap. Thank you for watching, and if you have any suggestions, please comment them and leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Bye bye.